Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Bree Hartley targets Sophie Cunningham for injury, and the WNBA needs to clean house immediately. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Real quick, fingers crossed. Hopefully this sounds okay to all of you. I've got an emergency mic here. Apparently my USB, the wire, whatever you want to call it, that connects my mic to my computer has disappeared on me. So I'm actually using my Bluetooth built-in microphone while I order another phone mic. So anyway, let's move on to this. This is absolutely wild. I touched on this in my post-game video, but I think it is worth another video on its own for a couple of reasons. First of all, we've got this. And I said here, yes, what Hartley did to Sophie Cunningham was intentional. Yes, the WNBA should fold. And I said, I want women's professional basketball to succeed. I'm not sure that means the WNBA needs to succeed. I don't think they are the same thing. I think the WNBA folding would probably be best for the league itself, but and you may not be able to quite see it here. I have it on the thumbnail. Let's see if we can get closer. Yeah, there you go, folks. And from all that I was able to do. Yes, this is legit. You can see the kind of blurriness. This was taken from the video. I know we always have to be careful nowadays because of AI, but yeah, she seemed pretty happy about that. Keep in mind she was ejected from I think it was the game right before they played the Fever, or maybe a game removed. I believe she's been ejected twice if I'm not mistaken, and let me know in the comments below. I'm coming off of memory from this. I believe she was also the player that pulled Angel Reese's hair that time when Angel Reese was going up for a rebound. So Bree Hartley is not a very good basketball player. She doesn't have any skill. She is, unfortunately, like we said, for a lot of the WNBA, basically a dirty player. She's a thug. She's not a basketball player. But the WNBA not only seems to let that go, it seems to be what they've encouraged over the years. And look, I know a lot of people, for some reason, they want to police language, so they take words that are used and they say, "Oh no, but that now you're making that a skin color issue, so that's a bad word." No, because I put J.C. Sheldon in the same category. As you can see, this is J.C. Sheldon after the rake of the fingers across Caitlin Clark's eyes, and Bree Hartley after she rolled up on Sophie Cunningham's leg. This is not a good look for the WNBA at all. You may remember, again, we'll just go back to that JC Sheldon thing again. We have this, and boom, oh, there we go. And then she's going to get in her face. Caitlin didn't like that. And Marina Mabrey, who didn't see a thing, comes up and blindsides Caitlin Clark. And really, did anything happen? No. Marina Mabrey took no responsibility. She blamed the fans for it being upgraded to a flagrant foul, but she should have been tossed from the game immediately when that happened. J.C. Sheldon should have been tossed from the game immediately when that happened. So it only makes you think, well, this seems to be something that is actually endorsed by Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA. That is a problem. If now I get that the media rights deal is already signed. I'm hoping that the people who did it were smart enough to say, hey, you know what? We've got to have some things built into this, since so much is riding on Caitlin Clark. We need some things built into this to be able to review, to be able to change, so that we're not just blowing all this money over the next 11 years, I believe it is. Because, and look, now they've taken out Caitlin Clark. We know that they've taken out Caitlin Clark. I don't want anyone I don't care what anyone has to say about that. It's obvious that the injuries came from the repeated abuse that she gets throughout games that is not called. There's Sophie Cunningham, even the New York Post. Folks, this is what Caitlin Clark has done to the WNBA in terms of coverage. The New York Post doing an article on Sophie Cunningham's knee injury for the Indiana Fever. This is not something that would have gotten any coverage anywhere 3 years ago. This is the type of stuff that's been going on in the WNBA. I think there's another level to it now when you've got with the animosity and Caitlin Clark, but it's definitely something that's been going on. And again, just real quick, if you don't remember from this is right off tip off, right? This is 30 seconds into the game. Sophie Cunningham is fouled there. They let that go. The girl goes on there and tries to dive on her, and Sophie puts up her leg to get her off. And Sophie Cunningham got a technical foul on that. I can't remember if it was a straight technical or a flagrant, which is basically the same thing. And then that set the precedent so that we eventually ended up with this. Now you'll see she's falling, and that is, I'm telling you, and I know if you watch the post game, you saw this already, but I'm gonna I'm gonna go for it one more time in a little bit of slow mo here, and walk you through that this is, I'm telling you, and anyone who's played a lot can tell you too, because they understand how their body moves in through the air and whether when they're falling and so forth. And this is an adjustment by Bree Hartley when she's going down. As she's going down, she can go down flat, and she tilts her body to the right to get out and get on to Sophie Cunningham's leg. I have no doubt about that. By the way, here's the thing. This is not even a foul. They didn't even call a foul on this because she's going down, which of course is absurd because, and I couldn't find video, I'm sorry, and they ended up pulling back the foul because right before it happened, the shot clock expired. But at the end of the game and chasing down a ball, Lexi Cunningham, not in a dirty play or anything, but Connecticut player was ahead of her trying to chase down the ball. Lexi was behind her. The girl got it near the end line and stopped, and Lexi couldn't stop herself completely and sort of bumped her, and they called that a foul. But in terms of your body control, it's a very similar thing, and there was not even a regular foul called here at all. I'm not sure. That's just the thing. But yeah, folks, this is what we've got. This is what this league is. This is what this league seems to have always been. And this is a real problem for the WNBA. If they do nothing once again, this is a serious problem for this league. They have got to clean this stuff up. We've got Caitlin Clark, who's clearly been targeted multiple times, and nothing has been done. Do you realize there's not been a single suspension? We had the Kennedy Carter hit, we had the Diamond DeShields hit, we had the Angel Reese hit on the head. We've got the Dejanay Carrington eye poke. We've got the J.C. Sheldon eye poke. We've got the Marina Mabry slam from behind when Caitlin Clark wasn't looking. And I'm not even talking about all the regular stuff that goes on almost every single game that isn't even called a regular foul. I'm pointing out the stuff that is obvious that everyone knows about that are not basketball plays that are happening in the dead ball. Look, hey man, when Dejanay Carrington poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, the WNBA Players Union response when Christine Brennan dared ask her about it was to try and get the reporter fired. This is how bad this league has always been. And now, though, here's the problem. And again, it's why they hate having all these new basketball fans. No one would ever have heard about this because no one was watching and they all are part of the same little social club. But now you've got eyes on it. Like I said, the New York Post doing an article on this. I didn't look at it because it wasn't necessary for this, but just so I don't know where they came down on this play or not, if they even talked about it. But just the fact that they're doing an article on Sophie Cunningham getting injured shows you where the interest lies now with this league. But it is all dependent on Caitlin Clark. And we've got thugs like J.C. Sheldon and thugs like Bree Hartley getting away with targeting players for injury. And nothing is done by the WNBA. I hope they're prepping for lawsuits because, look, if a civil rights uh, action actually comes from the DOJ, from the government, all of this stuff is going to be brought up because it's not a good look for this league because it goes to the same thing, unsafe work environment and so on and so forth. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this comments below. I appreciate you checking out this video as always. do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.